It has to do with Tom Friedman. Tom Friedman yesterday went on Farid Zakaria, and he said, guess what? We need to get pragmatic about this oil thing. And he actually used the word woke when he tries to address progressives. You know, he thinks that we need to just hold on. We need to hold on between the transition from oil to green energy because it just cannot be done the twist of a dime. Want you to listen to this, and I have a few choice words for Tom Friedman, who is nothing but an apologist for the oil sector. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
When you think about this energy issue, you've also written on the fact that at the heart of this problem, we have not thought seriously about the transition to green technologies and underinvested in exploration for oil or natural gas. Is there a way to square the circle, to invest in these technologies so that we can have relatively low oil and gas prices and at the same time move to a green future?
We need a strategy that maximizes three things: our energy security, our economic security, and our climate security. The only way you're going to get that is if the Biden administration does something it has failed to do, which is bring the leading oil and gas companies, executives around a table with the leaders and advocates within the administration of our climate policy and come up with a solution that maximizes all three. If you don't do that, we're basically telling the oil and gas companies, you're dinosaurs, please go off somewhere and quietly die after you give us a little more oil and gas to get through this winter. The message that sends to their investors is, hey, don't invest new money in oil and gas, just raise your dividend, give me more of my return back, and buy back more of your stock. And that's what's been going on. So we underinvest in our own capacity. It means we can't make up for Russia's losses, and prices go higher. We need to have an honest and true discussion about this, and we're not. People are basically just assuming you can flip a switch, and there's just so much virtue signaling around this kind of woke green energy that is just unrealistic. I'm as green as they come. I mean, I can't wait to get off fossil fuels, but it's not something that's going to happen in the short term, and we got to be realistic about it.
You see what he call it, woke green energy. I mean, you can see where he's coming from. He's a righty, doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's get real here. Let's go back to President Carter. President Carter was at the lead in developing what was called syn fuels, right? Synthetic fuels that, wasn't necessarily clean. It was doing things like turning carbon into oil and that kind of stuff. But if we really wanted to do all those things, we had all the time. President Carter placed solar panels on his roof of the White House as an example to move in for green energy. That's about how many years ago? Almost 40 or more than 40 years ago. More than 40 years ago. And because we got taken over by the oil sector with El Señor Reagan and those subsequent to him, all the advances that we should have made in the green energy sector were put on hold because the oil guys knew one thing. We got all this free oil off these public lands that the American people own, but we get for free. So we just pay a few licensing fees, but then we take it back with depletion allowance and all these kind of tax breaks. So we get all this free oil that we sell at full profit, right? And so we have no incentive to really push green energy. So we've been twiddling our fingers for 40 years. We should have been way past where we are right now, but we twiddle our fingers for 40 years. And what this clown, El Señor Tom Friedman, who is supposed to be this real good thinker, is going to talk about we can't change on a dime. Who the hell is asking us to have change on a dime? We were saying we allowed 40 years to go by without a plan to really green off ourselves. 40 years. My brothers and sisters, 40 años no hicimos nada con causa. 40 años, 40 years. And you want us now to say, let's hold back and feel sorry for the companies? And why is it? Everything must go through the business cycle. Oh, what do you want? The investors are not. Think about it. We have a planet that's burning up. We have bad air. We have people that are suffering, and our concern is whether the investors are going to not want to invest in something because they're dinosaurs. Oil companies are dinosaurs. Yes, they're dinosaurs by choice. They could have invested in green energy in mass years ago, decades ago. They didn't. So yes, they're dinosaurs, and they should die that death that they deserve as dinosaurs for lying to the American people, for telling them that the energy was cleaner than it was, for doing all these things. They deserve to die, yes. And in the interim, while we still need fossil fuels, we should nationalize the oil industry after they've ripped us off for all these decades after decades after decades. They just took billions out of every American's pockets. They took that money because they could. How difficult is it to understand the evilness of the petroleum industry? How evil it is. How difficult it is to see that they took it. There was nothing more than legalized theft. How difficult is that to understand? Please tell me. Legalized theft. Anybody supporting these organizations are saying, bend over, give it to me again. It is sick. It is sick that we allow the corporate theft to continue. So yes, Friedman is right about something. We should go ahead. You can lump fusion into, I know about, you know what's so funny about it, Bruce? At the University of Texas in Crockle Hall, I was there soon after they built Crockle Hall. We had the tokamak inside of the basement of Crockle Tower in Austin, Texas. There is a magnetic bottle to do nuclear fusion in Austin under that building. We've been working at that for years. For years, we've been working on that. But no investments, right? What we're trying to say, people, is stop buying the Kool-Aid. Yes, the oil companies need not exist anymore. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.